right, we're live. Austin Hanks, welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, man. Especially since turkey season's getting ready to roll in here, and
Be here before you know it.
yeah, you come from a long list of turkey slayers, and we'll get into kind of talking about that kind of stuff. And appreciate you coming on here and doing this. That's kind of what I was just telling you earlier is like the reason why we're kind of doing this is just so we can all kind of learn from each other and, different ways of life. And, you guys are born and bred North Carolinians, right? You're from here. So it's just so cool and so different from where I come from, I feel like I'm getting pretty integrated in here though. Like I'm like afraid to tell people now. They're like, where are you from? I'm like, well, my son's born in North Carolina. So they're like, oh, okay. So you're from here? I'm like, no, I'm from California.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
See, I don't tell people. Because they're like, don't bring your politics here. I'm like, bro, I come from like a super red county. Trust me. We are not bringing our politics here. We're coming to help, okay?
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
We needed it.
Right. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. So, man, yeah, again, appreciate you coming. And let's just kind of dive in, man. Like, tell me about where you grew up and how that looked for you as a kid.
So I've grown up in the big old town of Reedsville.
Yeah.
Been there my whole life. Been there my whole life. Grew up hunting and fishing. That's basically all I did when I was little. So got into. I remember I was laying in my bed one day in 2010. I was 16, and my dad came in and said, I'm going to start making turkey calls. Didn't think much about it, but he took off with it, and it's just kind of grown and grown,
Yeah.
year to year, and here we are now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, business is wild, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, it definitely is not for the faint of heart. We talked about this on the phone a couple weeks ago when we were talking about business and things like that. But so what got you guys into getting, why'd your dad get into making turkey calls? What was
I guess just the love for turkey hunting.
Really?
I mean, his whole life, that was his thing. It's always been his thing is turkey hunting. So something we've always done together, and we just lived and breathed turkey hunting basically.
Right.
My whole life. So
Right. When was the first time you killed a turkey? How old were you?
I think I was 11 when I killed my first turkey.
11.
Yeah. So older than you thought, probably.
Well, I would say that the first time I killed a turkey was, I think I was 19.
Mm-hmm.
First one I ever killed was in Missouri, and it was a Jake. So it didn't really count, but yeah, it counts, but you know what I mean.
Well, back in my day, we didn't have, I sound old now, back in my day, but we didn't have those, 410s with TSS and all that stuff. So I was shooting 12 gauge, 3.5. So
Oh, yeah.
he kind of sheltered me for a few years before he let me actually shoot one with a 12 gauge. But,
Oh, yeah.
and even then, he's like, "Oh, it don't kick. It don't kick."
Yeah, of course. And then the first time you do it, fucking arms like torn off.
No,
3.5 inch. That's
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I didn't feel it. I mean, I was so excited I didn't feel it. But
Right.
the first time I think I shot one that next year. The year after I killed my first turkey, before the season, I went and like patterned my gun or whatnot. And it was like the first time I had shot it when I wasn't actually shooting at a turkey and I wasn't all, jacked up and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, that hurt. That one hurt.
So you guys started building turkey calls. So you were 16. When was this? 2010?
2010.
2010 is when you guys opened up Hank's Game Calls, by the way.
Yes.
And so when you started making calls, how were you guys like testing these out? Were you guys like going out and doing it during season, or did you guys have like guys that kind of came on to help you with that process, or was this just kind of like straight out the garage type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, the first few years, it was basically just, trial and error for the most part, just making pots like this and seeing what they sounded like, and obviously the first ones sounded terrible.
Really? Do you still have those?
I'm sure he has them somewhere. We have stacks of
Dude, that'd be cool to see.
old stuff everywhere. So
Oh, wow.
we have. There's a bunch in the shop, but I mean, there's boxes in the house full of old calls and stuff. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of trial and error. I mean, the inside of the pot and everything has to be. I mean, you measure it with a micrometer if that tells you anything. Like,
Right. So it's got to be dead on. Like,
yeah, like the smallest changes can make the biggest change in
Wow.
sound and pitch and volume and all that stuff. So
and like this one here, you were telling me, I picked this one up from you guys a couple years ago in Nashville at the big turkey show they have over there. And you were saying that this was kind of like your guys' kind of top seller.
yeah,
So what kind of wood and like this is a slate, right?
a
and
slate
then
on the back.
and this right here, this piece on the top,
So that's glass.
this is glass. Okay. And then like, do you guys have certain types of woods that you guys are using or something? Or?
Yeah, so that's Osage right there. It's
Oh,
Osage
okay.
orange. Most of that comes from the Midwest.
Really? So you guys like get your stuff from out of state wood wise?
Well, Osage, yes.
Osage, that particular wood.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
That one, I think that most of our Osage actually comes from Illinois. We have
Oh, shit.
It's actually a female lady that has a sawmill and
Oh, wow.
cuts the trees, cuts them into boards and everything.
That's really cool.
And I think we usually pick those boards up in Nashville. We meet her in Nashville. She comes to the show
No
from
shit.
Illinois, and then we leave with a truckload of
That's
Osage.
badass. And then like, so what is this like a graphite? What is this wood?
That's
wood?
called diamond wood.
diamond wood.
So if you look close, you can see like there's little layers of it.
Yeah.
So it's basically birch. It's made out of birch.
It's a birch. Okay.
Very thin layers of wood, and they inject it with a resin. It makes it extremely hard.
Really? And then the handles, is that like some type of oak or something?
That's a birch top, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So what would you say is like the majority of the woods you guys use? Like what kind of wood? I mean, you said this one's kind of more particular as far as like the wood. So you guys will use like what, hardwoods like oaks or hickory or something, or
We came out with an oak slate call this year, which is done. I told you that was our best seller. So this
Yeah.
year, the oak black slate is definitely the best seller so far.
really?
Yeah. And actually, all the oak we're using for that right now actually was cut off our own farm and cut into boards and everything
That's
2 or
cool.
3 years ago. So
That's badass.
Yeah.
That's great.
we use a lot of African stuff, zebra wood.
Zebra wood.
Yeah, that's a big one we use a lot of.
Okay.
African Paduke. It's a red color. It's a red wood. And then we've used, all kinds of stuff. Canary wood, bubinga, a lot of exotic stuff.
Wow.
Just different woods with different different densities.
Right.
I got it out. Just gives you different sounds, and you just got to play around with
Right.
what you want to get out of it.
Right. What would you say is like kind of the better sound? Wood. You said this is overall kind of your
I would say
best overall
Osage.
seller.
I have a love and hate relationship with Osage.
Why is that?
It's hard, and it makes a good sound,
Yeah.
but it's bad about cracking and not the call when you get done with it, but like the
Right.
board,
Right.
like when it's drying,
Yeah.
or even after it's dry, it just gets little cracks in it, and a lot of it goes to waste, and yeah, it's a pain sometimes. But
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So do you guys have a bunch of like employees that work for you? You guys
No.
just
just
your,
me and my dad.
no kidding.
So we
You guys
basically work.
because you guys are in like quite a bit of stores across the U.S., right? So you guys, that's crazy. How the hell do you have all that? Your dad, you guys must be busting your ass, man.
We make them up basically all year up until usually sales start picking up around January. Deer season gets over. People start thinking about turkeys.
Right.
You sell some through the year, but it really picks up about January. Then you get into February, and right now, it's like it's wide open. So
Yeah. You guys are going, and how many shows are you guys doing a year?
we just do 3 a year.
Just do 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we do the big one in Nashville.
The Nashville.
We do the Raleigh one.
Yep.
And then we have one this weekend in Greenville, North Carolina.
In Greenville. Yeah.
So that'll be it.
Because that's a good way to get your product out there too.
Oh,
Would
yeah.
you say? Like you guys probably do pretty good at the show, but also like repeat customers.
Yeah, and you make a lot of contacts that way too.
Right. That's a big one.
But the shows, we always say we're going to cut down on them, and then they get better and better every year. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to,
Right. Yeah. I mean, you guys are pretty known now. Like you're all over the place. I mean, are you guys in Sportsman's? I swear I seen you guys in Sportsman's.
Yeah, we were in. I think it was 20-some Sportsman's Warehouse stores across the Southeast.
Wow. That's crazy. And like, are you guys? And then you're online as well, right? Okay.
Then we have a lot of little stores that are just, all over the place. A lot in the South, like Georgia, Alabama, that area. But several, all across the Southeast, basically.
Yeah. So I kind of want to go back to like kind of your childhood again, real quick, and kind of more ask you the question of like, because it seems like hunting in general is kind of we talked about like a lifestyle that's kind of handed down to, you as a kid. Usually that's kind of how it is. For me, somewhat similar situation. But I always found it to be because I was interested in getting into hunting, into, 16, 17, 18. I was always kind of the outsider because my dad didn't hunt. He did when he was a kid. I think he squirrel hunted or something. But like my mom's side of the family, they're all big time hunters. I'm in California. They're in Missouri. So I didn't get to be around it as much. So I had a lot of friends I grew up with. We did a lot of duck hunting. I tried to get into deer hunting out there, but that's a damn mess. The point system. There's mule deer hunting's a totally different ball game. I've always loved whitetail hunting. But like, I really felt like kind of a little bit of an outsider in the sense because I didn't grow up in it like a lot of my friends did. What would you say would be, and this might be something maybe you never thought of, but what would you say to the new hunter that was in my situation of how to get into turkey hunting and deer hunting? What kind of ideas would you have in mind to tell some, like, you get people probably talking to you all the time at these shows saying, like, maybe you've ran across them. Like, most of the time, there's probably a bunch of damn rednecks and people hunt their whole life, right? Like, but there's still some people that have never hunted before.
We get a lot of those, actually.
Do you really? Okay. And so tell me about.
Come up to the shows, never turkey hunted before. What can you tell me? Advice can you give me? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I really don't know the answer to that question.
Well, I was thinking about this the other day because I was like, okay, well, in North Carolina, there's a lot of private land, right? Like a lot of the stuff I hunt, I have permission to hunt on. Mm-hmm. I don't own a ton of land, so I was thinking, well, there still is probably no excuse not to hunt because you have tons of game lands here as well that you can go out and hunt. Now, it's probably tough because there's probably a ton of people out there hunting. I've never been to the game lands, so I have no idea.
Well, I think they have it cut to where like only so many people can go on certain days and stuff. So
it is okay.
I'm pretty sure, and don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
I've never hunted game land, so I wouldn't know for sure. But
right,
I think it's like so many people can go. Like you have to like check in or something, and
okay,
you have to draw a certain day or something like that.
Yeah, because there's a place up in Reedsville that I was looking at. I actually walked the entire
Dan River.
It's a little like game land up there, and apparently you have to draw a tag for that.
Yeah, that one just opened. I think just 3 or 4 years ago, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they have a duck impoundment and everything up there.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I just we happened to go up there one time because I was like, okay, here's some game lands. I was like looking for more places to hunt, and then I got to reading online, and they're like, oh no, that's a draw unit, and I was like, a draw unit. I didn't realize you had draw units in North Carolina.
I didn't either. I thought
Yeah.
that was like a Midwest thing.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, oh, you have to get like selected to hunt here? This is weird. And I could be wrong about like how it works. Like maybe it's not a draw unit, but just super weird because I was like, well, okay, I guess it's not.
I would say, I mean, if you're a new or someone trying to get into turkey hunting, like if you don't have friends at turkey hunt or if you don't, it's going to be hard to find land these days if you don't already have contacts because I think money is kind of taking over all the land as far as hunting goes.
Yeah.
Either you have to own it or you're going to pay out the wazoo to lease it. Because hunting has grown so much in the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The amount of, and one reason I guess that we're doing so good. I mean, there's just so many turkey hunters now. I remember growing up. I mean, turkey hunting ever since I was old enough to go. Basically, I would go with my dad. We had more places to go than we could ever even go to. I mean, pretty much all over the county, even in different counties.
Wow.
And then, like, everybody back then, they still deer hunted. But as far as turkey hunting goes, they're like, why would you want to shoot a turkey?
Right.
So it's like people deer hunted a place, but they didn't care if you turkey hunted or not.
Right.
And now it's like everybody that deer hunts, turkey hunts.
Right.
Or even more so than deer hunts.
Right.
But I mean, it's going to be hard to find land. It's hard to find these days.
Yeah. And I think too, another good source or good avenue is like, and don't be ashamed of it, but booking hunts with outfitters,
Oh, I've been on plenty of those. Yeah.
Right.
There's no shame in that.
And they're great. I go down every year. I go down to a place down east called Cuttawisky.
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine owns it, and he gives me I don't get the first 2 days. He's got a guy out of I think Arkansas, Red Rock Outfitters down there. They're good buddies, and so he gets the first 2 days, and then I get the 2 days after to go. So and it's great, right? But you pay a little money to go. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. You talking about turkey hunting?
Yeah, I mean, shit. I don't know what it is. Maybe $1,000, a couple days. You not guarantee a turkey, but about guarantee a turkey because there's a lot of fucking turkeys down east in North Carolina.
Yeah.
But I have a hell of a time. Plus, it includes you get to stay in their house, whatever that you call that damn thing, and then they have like a game room and stuff like that, barbecue, and then they'll provide 3 meals. So, dude, you add that up.
That's very cheap.
That's a
for these days. Yeah.
That's a pretty goddamn good deal. Yeah, and there's no shame in that. Like, I'll be honest, I don't have really good spots around here for turkey hunting. We have a nice place I hunt down in Alamance County, and there's fucking turkeys on there every year, but they are just as stubborn as hell. You just can't get to them. I mean, we try like hell, and it's like every year we get duped. So we always look forward to going down to Cuttawisky and doing that. So that's another avenue, I guess. Yeah. Now that we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Where's some of the cool places you've been?
See, I've been hunting in Texas. I've been to Texas. We went to Texas every year there for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, turkey hunting.
And what kind of turkeys are down there in Texas?
They have Rios.
Rio
Grande, yeah.
Real pretty birds.
Yeah, and I've been to Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, Florida. For turkeys, yeah, I think that's about it for turkeys.
So have you killed all 4?
Yeah, I've got 2 Grand Slams.
You got 2 Grand Slams?
Would have a lot more than that if it wasn't for the Osceola. I've got 2 Osceolas.
Oh, really?
As far as the Rios and the Merriams go, I don't know how many of those I have, but plenty.
Really?
So this will tell you how much turkey hunting has grown in the last several years. When we first started going to Texas. Excuse me. So we were paying. It was $500 a piece for me and my dad to go kill 4 birds a piece. That was lodging included. $500 a person for 4 birds.
Whoa.
You're not going to find a place to even take
No.
$500 for a deposit now,
No.
and they're not going to let you kill 4 birds.
No. Holy moly.
And we would go in, and I remember one time we got there at probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and by 4 o'clock we had 3 birds dead.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean,
They're probably are they pretty overloaded with them there?
at the time they were.
At the time, yeah.
And like we would go to like a diner or something close by, just a small town in Texas, and people thought you were crazy. You were coming all this way to shoot a turkey.
Right.
And they were like, "Oh, you can come to my place and hunt for free."
Right.
But now,
No, they ain't saying that. No. You can't, no. Especially Texas. You want to talk about a landlocked state? That bitch just fucking landlocked. Like you ain't, it's all private pretty much. I mean, they got a few, like I guess you'd call it game lands there, but there's, unless you don't know someone or you're paying outfitter, you ain't hunting nowhere.
they don't have acres out there; they have sections.
Right.
640 acres apiece. Yep.
That's a big goddamn place, man. Yeah, that's crazy though. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would like to go down to Texas and start getting a little more. Or really anywhere, go out of state and start getting some different hunting in for turkeys and stuff like that. If I'm gonna plan an out of state hunt, I'm like, I think I'll go for big game if I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean?
We did some mule deer hunting in Texas.
Did you
That was
really?
good. Yeah.
Did you guys kill one?
Yeah. My dad's been twice, and I went once.
Really?
He killed 2. I think one was in like the 170s.
Nice.
Well, I think both of them are pretty close.
Really?
Yeah.
That's badass.
And like mine was, I killed an older, I guess you would call him a management buck. It looked like to me. I mean, he had the front forks, but his back ones were just like straight tines, like a whitetail would be.
Yeah.
Just real heavy.
Yeah.
But his 2 were giants, yeah.
So let me ask you this: what do you like more, or you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but turkey hunting or deer hunting?
Oh, turkey all day.
You think so?
I don't know. It's hard to beat shooting a big buck with a bow.
I was just gonna say it's okay. You're not gonna lose business over that. You know what I mean? Like everybody knows. Do you see a lot of more deer hunters transitioning over to turkey hunting? Obviously,
Oh, absolutely, yes.
It's kind of more of a transition.
It's-
You don't really see. Oh, I only hunt turkeys, and then transition to deer hunting. You probably don't ever see that.
Not much, no.
Yeah.
It's usually the other way around.
The other way around, yeah. Yeah, it is hard to, that's a pretty intense thing.
I will say there are times that I would take duck hunting over both of them. On a good duck hunt.
Duck hunting's fucking fun, dude.
It's just completely different than any other type of hunting. I mean,
Right.
you don't have to sit there and be quiet for hours. And I mean, you're basically just sitting there talking to your friends. Ducks come in. You get to shoot more than once most of the time.
Right.
Versus turkey and deer hunting, most of the time you go, you don't shoot at all,
Right.
So I guess it's just more action-packed.
Yeah. Yeah, we went this year. This is the first time I hunted ducks in North Carolina. Everything else has been out in California, which actually was really good duck hunting in California, believe it or not.
Probably better than here.
If you go up to the northern part of the state, it's pretty damn good. But man, we were out in the Outer Banks. I went out there. My buddy, shout out to Hitman Fishing. He does in the wintertime, he'll take people out on, he's got a blind out there and everything like that. And we went out there and had a pretty cool ass time, dude. That was wild. Cold, but it was cool.
Y'all probably got some cool ducks out there. What kind of ducks are in California? I mean, I know you got the usual stuff, but
Yeah,
don't you have like cinnamon teal and stuff like that
yeah,
out there?
they have some wild ones, and I don't know all the damn names of them. I'm not a big, huge
Yeah.
waterfowl guy or anything, but just more or less your standard, green winged teal and mallard ducks and things like that. They do have wood ducks, and I would say, I mean, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people hunt a lot of geese out there too. That's a big one. But I mean, you get up north, it's totally different than kind of where I'm from, the desert, where you just have like a ton of big, massive lakes up in the northern part of the state. You know, you get into like Sacramento, you have the Sacramento River. So it's just like pretty much from like, I would say like Fresno north is just nothing but water, literally. And that's why you've seen the whole thing about the whole water issue with the fires down south, where Trump went in and was like, fucking open these things up and let the water flow, you know? Well, because there's tons of water up there.
They can't do that. They're going to mess up that little fish they're trying to save or whatever it
Yeah.
was they were talking about.
Yeah, the shit fish. That's what I call it. You know what I mean? Nobody, you know, it's ridiculous.
It is.
The whole thing, I mean, and I'm not going to get on shitting on California this podcast, since we did that the last podcast. But it is. It's crazy. I mean, you know, you got to think about like how bad the hunting's gotten out there too, right? Like there's a mountain line about every canyon going from the Mexico border up to Oregon. One mountain line per canyon. You know how many freaking canyons there are?
There's no telling.
Thousands. I mean, there are so many mountain lines in California. It is ridiculous. It's so bad, dude. And you got to think, a mountain line's killing a deer a week or every other week to eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, just imagine that. Imagine the deer population. Just, and California's got some big ass mule deer, but yeah, it's just declined. I mean, there's places, dude, that like a buddy of mine hunts, and it's millions of acres. 10 deer. I mean, you go into this. You've been to Colorado?
Yes, I have.
Okay. There's parts of California that look like Colorado. Okay. You go into these parts and you're like, fuck, I'm going to see some elk. I'm going to see some deer. Nothing. Nothing, dude. For hundreds of miles, you're not going to see any deer. It's crazy. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Will they not allow mountain lion hunting out
They
there?
won't allow it. You cannot touch a mountain lion in California, dude. They have destroyed the hunting in California, and is one of literally the most beautiful states in America. It is, and it has everything, and they've just completely ruined it.
Why they pick the most dangerous animal to protect?
I don't know. They're scary. These things are fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, I've never seen one in person. I have friends that have seen them in person, and you know, they're killing machines, man. Like, I mean, Steven Rinella?
The name sounds familiar.
He's got Meat Eater.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He went up to he was up in, I think, like Saskatchewan or somewhere up in Canada. Got invited to go on a mountain lion hunt up there, and I might butcher the story a tad, but they go into hunting this mountain lion. They're hunting with dogs, and the first day he got there, they're trailing this. You know, the dogs are trailing this thing, and they come up on a kill, fresh kill, buried in snow, and they're like, okay, well, we're still on him, so they tracked him for the rest of the day. Another fresh kill, buried it. Next day they get up, same situation again. They start back on that trail, finding this mountain lion, another kill. This mountain lion was literally just killing for fun. And what he was doing, what they thought he was doing, was essentially they knew these mountain lions got really smart. So they were basically, they thought that the mountain lion was basically just like killing something and being like, here, you can have it, and moved on to the next one, knowing that they were trailing him. And then they kill another one. He'd be like, here, you guys, you can have this one, right? So it wasn't like he was killing to save it for later. He was killing, basically telling him to get the hell away from me.
Yeah.
Because this particular mountain lion had killed like a ton of sheep at this farmer's ranch or something like that. So that's why they kind of came in there to kill it. So again, I could be butchering the story a little bit, but they're super smart. They adapt really well, you know. And what do you think about mountain lions in North Carolina?
I don't know. I've heard about it. Never seen one.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Can't believe a lot of what you hear, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we a friend of mine, he's got some photos.
Does he really?
Yeah. I'll show you.
All right.
He's got some photos, and if you go online, it says there's no mountain lions here. It says the research says there's no mountain lions here, but I'm thinking to myself like, okay, why would it say that?
I've heard they've brought some in or something. I've heard that story several times, but
Have you? I mean,
I don't know.
I think. Well, I mean, my theory is like, okay, well, it shows online that the furthest collared mountain lion was 1,500 miles away from where it left. So if you do the math from Greensboro to Denver, Colorado, that's 1,700 miles.
So they could be wherever they wanted
That's
to
what
be.
I'm saying. Like, it's not to say they live here. They could pass through, you know. I mean, you never know. So, yeah, that's a pretty crazy story. My Alan Radford, buddy of mine, he's got some photos. It's pretty crazy though. But what do you think the biggest predator for turkeys are here in North Carolina?
Humans.
Think so?
I really do. I was thinking about that today. Because I remember, I don't know how long you've been turkey hunting, but as far as like the turkey population around here, the last, I don't know, five years or so, it's just like nosediving. I mean, usually
Really?
this time of year in the past, I mean, you could drive around any field around my house or close anywhere you want to go, really. There's going to be a gobbler strutting out there with a few hens, if not several gobblers out there strutting.
Really?
And I think, I mean, a lot of it has to do with, well, I know there's more turkey hunters than there's ever been, at least around where I'm at. And on top of that, you got, I mean, you can look around. I mean, they're cutting timber everywhere, obviously.
That's a big one.
So, and which turkeys like the clear cut until like 2 years in, you know, they're obviously not going to use. I mean, 3 or 4 year old clear cut, and we could be standing like this, and we couldn't see each other in the summertime. I mean,
Right.
turkey's not going to be using that, obviously.
Right.
So I think it just pushes them into little pockets and stuff, which makes them more vulnerable to actual predators that, you know, coyotes, stuff like that.
Bobcats.
Bobcats. I've trapped a lot of bobcats the last few years.
Really?
I didn't know there was that many around here until I started catching them and getting
Wow.
pictures of them. And yeah, didn't do a lot this year, but coyote, foxes, bobcat trapping.
Really?
Yeah.
And what are you doing with them?
I was selling most of the coyotes live there for a few years to the fox pens.
Oh, okay.
But in the last few years, just cut the hides off.
Do you ever sell them, or you guys take them now?
Most of them are honestly in the freezer, and I haven't messed with them since I took them off.
Oh shit.
I've done a couple by myself, and they're such a pain.
They're a pain. Yeah.
That's why I send all my stuff to Jonah.
Right. Yeah, but he messes with it all day long, so it's
Yeah,
like,
he's used to it.
hey, you just take care of this. I'm not fucking with this damn thing.
I've been telling Eric for several years I was going to bring him some hides to send off to get tanned, and I just haven't fooled with it yet. I decided I was going to tan one by myself one time, a coyote. Man, I don't know how many hours I spent on that thing. Got it all fleshed out, did everything got my own little hide tanning kit, got all done with it, and then the hair started falling out. So I was like, well, that's my last.
Right.
It was miserable.
Yeah. Yeah. Say, let the experts do it.
But
Those
back
guys-
to the turkey population. I guess there's a lot of factors that play into it, but to me, I mean, I really saw it start dropping as the hunter numbers started going up so much.
Right.
And then on top of that, I mean, we got to think the turkey is the same animal today as he was 50 years ago,
Right.
but we always have some kind of new hunting gadget or new hunting technology, TSS,
Yeah.
shotguns that can shoot turkeys 100 yards away.
Right.
You know, even things as small as like Onyx, stuff like that,
Yeah.
cell cameras. I mean, I'm guilty of all of it too. I'm just
Right.
putting it out there. I mean,
Yeah.
we keep coming up with new ways to make hunting easier, but the animal is still the same animal as it was when it was first created by God.
Right. That's a good way to look at it. I mean, because And I think all these tools are really good, right?
Oh,
'Cause
I
you,
do too, yeah.
you
I
want
use them all too. I'm
yeah,
just
yeah, you want to have it to your best. You want to have what's in your advantage as a hunter.
right.
You know what I mean? Like they're all great freaking tools. I mean, I use Onyx I use Onyx all the time. I'm always pulling up my Onyx.
I do too. Even for non-hunting stuff,
No,
I just pull it up.
I know. I feel like you said what was your address again? You own what land? I'm like, oh yeah, your neighbor's Sam,
Yeah. I do the same thing.
all the time, dude. I literally almost did it today with a tree because he was like, I'm not sure if it's on my neighbor's house, and I was about to whip it out, and I was like, nah, I'll just let him talk to his neighbor.
My brother closed on a house here a few weeks ago, and that's the first thing I did. When I went over there, I pulled up and looked at about everybody around him.
Yeah, you walked as close as you can to the property line and be
Yeah.
like, okay, so I own from this tree on. Yeah, I did that here too.
Yeah.
So I know exactly where every damn tree is on my property now. I don't know how like accurate it really is. It's probably a little off, but it's pretty damn accurate though.
Yeah,
Those
pretty
Onyx
close.
Max are. We used it in Colorado. It's the biggest one, like the best. Yeah, because you can set the tracker.
Yeah, you
And
definitely
just
need
go
it out there.
Yeah, and you just go, and then you're like, okay, I feel kind of lost because out there it's so big, you feel lost pretty quick, you know. But yeah, what's crazy is I don't see a lot. Like, there's a few guys maybe it's just friends I have like on social media and stuff. But there's a few friends that are killers, man, and I see them post some stuff online and stuff. But I guess I don't really see a lot of like turkey killing going on. Maybe I think it probably is a lot more than I think,
It is.
for sure. But it's like I just don't see it like,
It's definitely grown a lot in the last
yeah,
5-6 years, especially.
yeah, yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing is I want to get my son into it,
Yeah.
So I think Jonah's gonna take him this year. We're all gonna go together.
It'll
and-
be a good one to go with.
Yeah. Well, because they got places they can take him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I can take him out to where I hunt, but there's,
It's hard to find places these days.
super hard, bro.
I mean, like I was saying, we used to have more places than we could go to during turkey season. And
That's
now
crazy.
we have a few places.
So tell me about the old Tom. How smart are these things? These turkeys. Not only smart, but like, explain what his kind of daily life is like.
I like to say a turkey has nowhere to be and all day to get there. I mean, sometimes you can call them in, obviously. That's the goal.
Right.
But I mean, they're very smart. They'll make you look stupid.
Yeah.
A lot of times. 99% of the times they'll make you look stupid. I mean, for a pea-sized brain, they're very smart. It's like they have a sixth sense. Basically like hunting a big whitetail, they just have that sixth sense. Like they know something's up, even when you haven't done anything wrong. Think you have them figured out, and they do something completely opposite the next morning when you think you got them dead to rights.
And you're more or less you're like trying. So give me the process of like how you're finding them.
Basically,
Finding a Tom. Like, 'cause
if I'm
there's a
going-
million ways to. I guess there's not a million ways, but some people are like, "Well, go out to the field and hit an owl call the night before." And so here I am, out at the place I hunt, hitting the freaking owl call, nothing. And I'm like, "Well, that didn't fucking work."
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I mean,
Sometimes that'll work in the evenings, but
yeah,
it's more like a 50-50, I would say. What we do, I mean, basically you just wake up and go out there before daylight, listen for one to gobble. That's your best bet. If he's gobbling good, you got a good chance most of the time. Because if he's gobbling a lot, usually he doesn't have a hen with him, or he's trying to find his hens or something like that.
yeah,
Other than that, I mean, if they have hens and they know where they want to go, I mean, the only thing you really can do is, if you know where they're going, to get in front of them.
right. Because you'll be able to see, like, at some point. Well, I guess depending upon where you're at, you'll be able to see. Not necessarily see them, but I mean, I guess if you hunt your own property, you're going to be able to like identify, like you've been scouting, so you kind of know like what's going to happen. So I thought it was interesting. Last year, a buddy of mine, we went to the edge of this field and we were trying to pull them. We found 2 toms in this field and we are trying to pull them onto our property. So they were the field that we were hunting off the field onto our property that we were allowed to hunt on. We're like probably, and we could talk about hunting property lines too, because there's also a lot of controversy behind hunting property lines. But we're like 75 yards back from the property line. So a good distance. Like, it's not like you're right up hunting that edge into their field, right? Like, because obviously that's illegal. But we're hunting 75 yards off, and we're trying to pull the turkeys from this field back into the woods. So my buddy takes his tom, his decoy, crawls up to the edge of the field, waves it several times. We sat there for a hot minute calling and just waving, just showing him like, hey, there's another tom over here. Like, I guess getting him to get pissed off and come over there and do something about it. So it ends up like they see him. He's looking back at me. He's like in the thick of briars, like crawling. He's crawling backwards with this thing. And he's like, they're coming. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay, cool. So anyway, so he backs off. He gets back. I mean, this dude crawled like, I might have been exaggerating. Could have been 50 yards, but he crawled a fucking long ways back there and back. Like, that dude's a killer, bro. Anyway, just cut to shit, all in fucking briars, eating ticks, whatever, dude. Gets back to me. He's about kind of my left, like, I don't know, maybe like 10 yards, 15 yards. And sure as shit, here they come. They fucking came right up in there, 2 of them. And I ended up dropping 1 of them. But the problem we were having is I could hear him telling me to shoot. The thing, I'm like sitting there, and of course my adrenaline starts pumping. So now I'm like, my eyes are starting to glaze over, and I'm like, now I'm having a little bit of, I'm being honest, I like had a little trouble on the distance thing. I'm like, bro, I don't think I can take the shot. It felt like they were still in the field. And he's like, they're good. You can kill it. And I guess, I don't know, my depth perception was quite a bit off, but I ended up killing him, and we were on our property, so totally legal. But like, what do you think about property lines? Like, what's kind of the unwritten rule, let's say, like for property line hunting? Like, obviously you can't hunt in someone else's field, but like, let's say, you know, you have a camera set up, and you've noticed this buck or whatever, these animals are coming on and off this particular corner of this property. What's kind of your thought behind that?
I think, as far as as long as you're on the property you're supposed to be on, as far as turkey hunting goes,
yeah.
Close you want to get, I guess. Now, deer hunting, if you're hanging a stand or something, that's a little different, I would say.
Right.
I wouldn't hang a stand like
on
10 yards on the property line where you can
right.
shoot on somebody else or whatnot. But
right.
As far as turkey hunting goes, I'll sit on the line that has the little tape around it as long as I'm facing my way.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't shoot the other way, obviously, but
yeah.
I'll sit on the line as long as I'm facing the way I'm supposed to be hunting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Cause like I know.
Now, if somebody else is actively hunting the property beside you, and you know that's a little different, I guess.
Well, yeah, because you're going to respectively like honor what they're doing. Like,
and you don't want to get shot either.
Well, yeah, you don't want to get shot. Yeah, but also, there's a lot of dickhead hunters out there too, that are not respectful of other people, and I've ran into that issue.
Oh yeah,
here locally. Actually had a stand went missing. One of the randomest stands that we have set up, just one day, just went missing, and I'm like, okay. Makes sense. Because I think I know why. Because one of our stands is close to a property line, but the stand is not facing the other way. It's facing into our property. And the reason why is because during the rut, like there's a bottom that they all run up. So it's an easy access to get in, to sit and get out. So you're not stinking up the area. But I think potentially the one of the neighbors, I don't know, could have gotten a little pissed and took our
Well, I
stand.
mean, I understand it. I guess I don't know if I would have took it down, but
Yeah. And, I think that's the biggest thing is like communicating, you know what I mean? Like, it's okay to like tell the neighbors or tell the people next to you, like, hey, like this is, because they're the only ones that know you probably hunt there. Because, you don't want to tell everybody where you hunt at. I mean,
right.
That's kind of the whole point of it is to,
Yeah, that never ends well. You tell everybody where you hunt at.
Isn't that raunchy, dude? God.
Hunting's a cutthroat sport.
It's a little cutthroat. Yeah, you let one person know where you're hunting at, dude, it's over with. Especially if they can have access to it.
Yeah. I've had several buddies that have, they'll take you to a place or whatnot, and then, they'll tell me they took somebody to a place, and then like next year, they somehow got into the place like that borders them or something like that, or tried to get into the place they were actually in.
Yeah.
Just no respect, and
Yeah.
it looks bad on everybody.
Right. Because they get too horn happy, They see that big buck. I had 2 years ago, I killed one of the bucks in the house, and I made the mistake of sending a picture to the guy I got permission to hunt the property with. And I did it because I thought, what does it matter, right? I want him to know, like, here's what we're doing out here. Like,
Yeah.
well, now I don't have permission to hunt there now. And the story was completely bullshit because it wasn't. He made it known that no one was allowed to hunt there anymore because this idiot left his cow pen. One of his cows got out, came on this guy's property, so they're trying to trap this cow. Well, the neighbor bring out this pin, put it out there so they could trap the cow in the pin. Well, they ended up getting the cow, but they left the pin out there. Well, the landowner got pissed off that he didn't pick up the pin and move it back onto his property. So then he just put up no trespassing signs, purple paint everywhere. And I'm like, oh, okay. I think it was the buck I sent you last year. And now all of a sudden you want to hunt this property. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
that.
fuck, dude. Like,
I've heard that happen.
Have you?
More than you would think. Yeah.
really?
It's like they'll let you hunt, and then you have success or kill something bigger
Yeah.
than they have, and they're like, yeah, no more.
No more. I was like, okay, that's cool. So the guy next door heard what happened, and he was like, Sean, you got full permission to hunt my property. I said, I appreciate it. Ended up being a better place.
There you go.
So that's cool. It's not a big place. It's like a little 80 acres, but it's cool. So, but, yeah. So what's kind of like, what do you got planned for this year? You got any big hunts coming up or
No, I'm gonna stay in good old North Carolina
stay
this
in
year.
North Carolina this year? What's the biggest buck you ever killed?
I
You
think
killed that one you sent me.
He's 176.
Ooh, where'd you kill him at?
We just talked about that.
Oh, you're not gonna tell me? No, but what in
Yeah, Rockingham County.
Rockingham County?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you killed him with your bow or did you shoot him?
That one was a rifle. That's one of the very few I've killed with a rifle.
Really?
Yeah.
What year was that?
Year before last.
Dude, he's huge.
Never seen. Well, I had that deer the year before on a different farm. He may have scored like maybe 140 that year. Shows you how much he growed. Just like the same unique frame and everything.
Dude, he's huge.
And his body that year looked like a fawn. Like he looked like deformed where his horns were so much bigger than his body. And even the year I shot him, his body, he looks like maybe a 3.5-year-old when I shot him.
Really? Did you guys check his teeth or anything?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
That was Jonah's fault. We'll throw that on him.
Damn it, Jonah. Did they do the deer for you?
Yeah.
What? So I have a family member that shot one that has a bigger rack and a small body. You think it could have been they just rutted pretty hard?
It could be because I didn't see that deer that year. Well, the year before when I had him when he was like 140s, I mean, I had him during the rut. He disappeared in like December. Didn't see him again till the day I shot him the next year.
Really?
So
Was
then
it pretty close into rut or?
he was the one I shot him?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in rut. He actually
okay.
came out with a doe,
Did he? Okay.
with a yearling doe at that.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's odd.
No.
For that big of a
I
deer.
told people I killed a pedophile.
Good. You should. That'd be a good. I would have no remorse for that. I promise you that.
So 90, I want to say 99% of the time I just strictly bow hunt. I mean, all year.
Really.
And I was helping my dad work on a tractor that day, and the wind was wrong for my stand anyway. So I was like, well, I'm not going to my bow stand. And I seen my climber sitting over there. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the climber. I haven't been in a climber in a couple of years. I'm just gonna take it and watch it as a cut bean field.
Ooh. Okay. Fresh. Like they just cut it, or
Yeah.
they're up. Ooh. Yeah. That's a good one.
So I'm gonna just watch it. And so I took the rifle, found me a poplar tree with no limbs on it, so I could climb up it. Got about halfway up and realized why I hadn't been on a climber for about 3 years.
Rough.
I hate them
Clink,
things.
clank, clank,
And
clank.
I have a nice one too. I mean, it's like top of the line, but I'm not a fan.
No.
So I finally get up probably, 20 feet. I'm like, well, this is far enough. And I'm still like, I turn around, I sit down, and my platform's too low. My feet are hanging down too far. So I got to get back up, lift my bottom platform a little bit. My gun's on my back, like across my chest. And I turn around and I sit down, I look up, and he's standing there at 100 yards looking at me like, what is this thing in a tree doing right now? Because I'm moving all around. I'm probably saying words I shouldn't be saying because I hate climbers. So at this time, I got scope covers on my gun. I got no bullets in it. I mean, they're in there, but they're not one in the chamber.
Right.
So I throw my binoculars up. I'm like, yeah, that's him. He's just standing there with this little bitty doe that I think she still had a couple spots on her back, honestly.
What?
I swear, yes. Never seen that before. So I get my gun loaded as fast as I can. He's still standing there just looking at me. He's broadside, but he's looking straight at me. So I put it on his shoulder, shoot, look up. He's standing in the exact same spot doing the exact same thing.
Oh God.
I was like, oh shit, I missed. So I work the bolt. That's when he starts running. I'm like, oh God, no. And he gets to the edge of the woods and he turns around and he faces me. And he's facing straight to me. I was like, well, I'm just going to shoot him right in the neck. So that's all I'm going to do. I mean, it's 170-inch deer. I'm going to do whatever I have to.
Right. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
But right when I put him in the scope, I thought he was like, his head was wobbling, it looked like. But I was like, I don't care. I just shot again. So he dropped right there then. Got down. Well, I called my dad first off.
Yeah.
He comes over there. We walk over there. He's laying there. Had a hole right behind the front shoulder where I shot him the first time. And he just stood there and took a 7 mag. Oh, like it was nothing. I don't know if that's the testosterone from the rut or you think so?
I have a theory behind the 7 mag because that's what I shoot.
Really?
Yeah. Browning Hills Canyon. And I think at 100 yards, I mean, I've dropped them and they've been dead in their tracks. But
Going too fast?
I think it's going too fast. And I think that there's just enough no man's land inside of in these animals that because it's so accurate and so fast, it just doesn't fucking, I don't know. It's like it's so fast it burns through and cauterizes or something. I have no clue. Dude, I shot when we were in Colorado. I was this last year. I was on the ground, just killed a buck, cleaning the buck. I was on one knee. I look behind me. Here comes a herd of fucking elk. And I had just bought my elk tag the day before. So I was like, it was over the counter. I was like, cool. Here comes all the cows, probably about 25 of them. They're all like maybe 100 yards, 75 at 100 at most, 75 most likely. Here comes the big bull we seen. It's the big old 6x6. I look over my hunting partner. I said, hand me that fucking gun. hands it to me, blood all on my fucking hands from cleaning this deer. Grab it, turn on one knee, put one right through his shoulders, dude. All I could see was as soon as you can't really like see after the shot with 7 mag, you know what I mean? Because you're trying to find your scope. Right. But when I shot, I like looked up over the scope, and I could see when I shot, I could see him. He just kept on getting it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and so he gets over the hill. I go to rack another one. He makes it over the next little hill, and then our other buddy who is hunting on the other little rim, 7 mag, puts it through him. We did a blood trail up that canyon for about, I want to say, a little over a mile. It took all day dude, we were there all fucking day. Because a mile up a canyon there, is like forever. But I don't understand it, dude.
So,
what do you think? I mean,
my dad has always, ever since I was little, has done reloading. So we load our own rifle bullets.
Really? What grain in the 7 mag are you
So
using?
we're shooting 140s.
140s, okay.
So ever since I was little, we've always shot the ballistic tip, Nosler ballistic tip.
Right.
Well, he always told me when I was little something about, if they're too close, it might blow up on their shoulder and not actually go in. Or something to do with it, where I guess it's going so fast, or something with the ballistic tip. Well, I never really thought about that much because I didn't really understand it anyway at that time.
Right.
Well, he don't deer hunt much, but he decided to get in one of my bow stands one day, or a blind, I think it was. But I had it set up for like a bow hunt, so it's gonna be I think it was like a 25-yard shot. So he took the 7 mag and shot a deer right in the shoulder. It was a pretty decent buck that we've been watching. Shot him right in the shoulder. Never found him.
No.
Came back like a week later, and you can see where it just basically, the bullet hit and blew up on his shoulder. And like his shoulder, like it never penetrated anything.
That was a ballistic tip.
Yeah. So ever since then, we've been loading the regular partitions or whatever they are.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I shoot now. But maybe it's something to do with the speed, and I don't know.
It's crazy because you would think that, like, it's got plenty of knockdown power. Now, I've hit deer where the exit wound's been like the size of a softball.
Yeah, that's why I always like shooting a ballistic tip. When it comes out, it's
like a softball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like shooting like rabbits and groundhogs with them too. There's nothing left to clean up.
It's crazy. They're like, it's such a freaking badass gun, and I just don't. And now I'm like, dude, should I go up to like a 300, like a 300 Win Mag or something? I'm shooting a 168 Burger. Jesus.
Oh, you're shooting a heavy bullet.
Yeah. I do that for the long distance reasons, because we dialed it in to where I'm doing I think the most I did was 3 in a row at 870 yards. So that's a good distance. So 870 yards, okay, I'm not going to do that when I'm out there. It's more or less just kind of get comfortable at like 500. You know what I mean? So I know that if anything pulls in at 500, I'm going to kill it,
It's a very accurate round.
Yes. And so that's why we went my gun likes that particular bullet without reloading. Like reloading, obviously you can dial in exactly what bullet you need to have for your rifle. Whereas I just kind of went the over-the-counter route, found the best over-the-counter long-range rifle, and that happens to be, out of a lot of tests and trials for people online, the Hells Canyon kind of seems to be, the Browning Hills Canyon seems to be the like kind of best overall, with 2-pound trigger, and you can adjust it, and you can do a lot of cool add-ons to it and stuff without getting into like, these $10,000 Christian Arms, long-range rifles, which I ain't got that kind of money, right? So I'm not, and I ain't gonna pay it. So it was like, either you could get with this or tough shit. But of course, put a nice scope on it, stuff like that, and MOA, so you can just kind of pull up, boom, lock it in with your rangefinder, tells you the MOA, done, we're locked and loaded. So that's why I chose that gun.
I love the 7 mag, which ours is a Remington 700,
and that's like that's up to me. That's one of the literally the best overall gun, like in my opinion.
Yeah, especially the older models. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So is your stock still the synthetic? Still got a synthetic?
No, ours is wood.
Yeah. See, you got those are
good
fucking
ones. It's had trigger work done to it.
Really?
hair trigger. nice loophole scope on it.
Yeah.
When I'm meat hunting, shooting does, I mean, if they're inside like 275, 250, it's going to be headshots
That's crazy.
because you don't mess up any meat and,
Yep.
they're laying right there.
Yep. That's a damn good gun. I
It
think
is.
that's like, I mean, and I like where I hunt out here, I won't bring it just because of the distance of where I don't have a lot of distance
Yeah.
in some of my spots. So if I do, I'm going to bring a 270.
Right.
Just because everything's it's just too close. That's a freaking massive gun at fucking 50, 100 yards. I don't know. It's just,
It is.
so I'll bring like this little, I don't know, I'm like obsessed with it. I've killed a lot of deer with it. It's just like this little like cheesy ass Savage Arms, like 270. And dude, I've killed a ton of deer. I let people-
Savage makes some good guns.
yeah. Yeah. It's okay. I mean, it's definitely a low grade one, but it's good because I don't give a shit about it. You know, if I drop it which I try not to drop guns, but or I'll let people, you know, that go hunting with me, I'll let them use it and things like that. So it's like a good overall kind of, you know, gun. But tell me about your filming. Did you just recently get into doing this? You've been doing this for a while, filming these ducks.
I got into it probably close to 2 years now when I bought my camera.
Really?
I'd been thinking about getting one. I've been researching and stuff for probably about 6 months because I knew nothing about cameras or anything like that. And I tell everybody that I'm not a photographer, by the way. I'm just an idiot that bought a camera because I still don't know half the stuff my camera does. It's a lot smarter than I am.
What kind of
but-
camera is it?
So I have a Sony A7 IV.
Yeah. It's a good one.
It is.
And the only reason I'm saying that is because my editor, he talks about cameras and shit all the time because he knows all about that. He's like
Yeah.
knee deep in it, and I don't have the mental fortitude for
The
it.
things them things can do is just crazy.
Insane, dude.
That's why I don't know half the stuff.
So do you have like a certain lens on there that you're
Yeah,
using?
I have a 600 millimeter lens.
Good God. So you can get right in there.
It actually doesn't reach as far as you would think.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how far are you from you just recently posted, you've been posting a lot actually, but how close are you to those dogs?
I try to be with like 20 to 30 yards.
Really?
So I'm hid out for 3 or 4 hours in the morning. Basically, like you want to be within like shooting range of like if you're duck hunting,
Right.
the closer the better.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, even if they're further out with the quality of that camera, I mean, you can crop in and it's still just like crystal clear. So, I mean, but obviously the better, closer the better for me.
Right. Yeah, because, dude, there's one of them, like, pulled his head up, and you could just see, like, the water, like, coming right off of his head. I'm like, holy shit, dude, that's a good camera.
It is. I like it. But I'm already ready to upgrade. But
You're already ready to upgrade.
Not
You
in
wanna
the budget right now.
sell me your
they make
sell me that
8K
one.
now.
Yeah, I know.
That's not even fair.
It's insane, dude. Yeah.
I'd just like to see what it would do.
Dude.
My computer, I got to get a new computer or something because my computer can't keep up with the 4K footage, trying to edit it and stuff.
Right.
So I definitely can't. I got to get a computer before I get a camera.
Yeah. You gotta have some freaking, I had to get one for the podcast, like holding all the memory and shit like
Yeah.
that, you know, and then sending it through Google Drive to my editor to kind of just like go through everything. And even now I'm like, ugh, I might have to get something. Eventually we're gonna have to upgrade a little bit more. But I mean, this one's got some good memory, I guess. I am not
Either.
a computer, any of this stuff. But what are you gonna do with this? This is pretty cool though. I mean, like you kind of got something going here. So
I'm not really sure. I mean,
You
I just
know,
kind of
it's kinda
started.
cool, man. Like
started doing it, and
something I think you can do something with it.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
Now, do you have TikTok?
I do.
I post
You
a lot
post on
more.
there?
I post a lot more stuff on there than I do.
Do you?
Yeah,
I'll
I have a
to
lot.
pull it up.
Well, I just started doing it. Like, I've had TikTok for years, but I never used it.
Yeah.
So, like 3 weeks ago, I just started posting my videos and stuff, and
Yeah.
get a lot more engagement on there than you do, like
Yeah.
Facebook and Instagram
I know.
and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, see it's like a lot of that stuff is like algorithm based.
Yeah.
You know, like you got to time it just right, you know, like we post like for our YouTube videos we'll do 3:15. So after the hour marker and we found that 3:15 just worked for us, or we'll post after 5 o'clock, but it'll be like 5:05, 5:15. So never at like the top of the hour. It just happens to be for us for some reason. That's where we get most clicks. Because I mean, you'll literally post at like 2 and you get nothing. Then you post at like 3, so it's like trying to find that exact algorithm. And of course, those guys that help me do the editing and stuff, they know that kind of stuff. You know, do you know anything about like the algorithm and stuff? Yeah, because normally before I was just like send it out, whatever. But he's like, don't do that. Set a timer for the next day for like 5 o'clock or 5:15. You know what I mean? Because when's the busiest day? What's the busiest time of the day? When are people most likely to like look at their phones? 8 in the morning, lunchtime, dinner time. You know, and then everything kind of starts dropping off from there. You're like 9. Our tattoo shop, Taylor posts at like 8 and she gets tons of views. 8 o'clock just happens to be, you know, work for the algorithm for her. So
Yeah, I mean, I've looked into like best times to post and stuff like that, but all that stuff's over my head. So I just throw it out there, and if it works, it works. If it don't, then it'll be all right.
yeah. Well, I mean, like I think you could really do something with it, man. I mean, like, you know, photography and videos and things like that. That's kind of a big. It's a niche for sure, but especially with you guys, you know, in the hunting world, you know what I mean. I think you can, because that's some high quality shit. You know what I mean.
Hope I can get some turkeys here pretty soon.
That would be sick.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Have you been out strolling around
I
looking?
haven't yet.
No,
I might go tomorrow, actually.
dude, that would be sick. Find some fucking turkeys. That'd be badass, especially when their fans get up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I saw my first one of the year strutting this morning on the way to a job.
No shit.
Yep, first one I've seen this year.
I haven't seen any, dude.
I haven't either till today. I figured they would have started a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's St. Patty's Day, bro. I forgot to mention that, man. We're rocking it out on St. Patrick's Day. Are you Irish? No?
I'm Indian.
You're Indian.
Part Indian, yeah.
Like what kind?
Cherokee.
Really? So you love my Indian stuff in here?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big Indian. I love Indian history and like I don't know. I'm like really super fascinated by Native American stuff.
So I think it was my dad's. I don't know. He would know this, but I want to say his grandma or either great grandma was full blooded Cherokee.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not that far down.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Here in North Carolina.
Yeah.
No shit. That's badass, dude. I'd like to know that history right there. Did he grow up like? He grow up in like the kind of that Native American world?
No, not really. No, nothing
No.
like that. But
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Hence the headdress. I'm super fascinated by
I like it.
Indian stuff. Yeah. Quanah Parker's like, you know much about Quanah Parker? Yeah, you should there's a book written about him, and he's one of the first Native Americans that ever got elected in office, I believe. And it's quite crazy because, you know, he killed a lot of people. And here he is getting elected, you know, I think it was Congress or something as an official. So it's pretty wild to see, like, nowadays you can do that. You can be out ravaging like those guys did and then be up at the White House fucking chilling. Like, no, that's not going to work. But, like, it is pretty wild. Quanah Parker's story is absolutely insane. The last of the Comanche Indians. You know much about them?
I don't.
Yeah, they were pretty savage.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they killed a lot of people. But
Actually, one of the Osceolas I killed was with I think he's a Sioux Indian. I want to say he's Sioux.
Okay.
And they started I think this is correct. I think they started a healthcare company for Native Americans.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, they started some kind of like healthcare company just for Native Americans, basically.
Gotcha. Where was that at?
It's in Florida.
Oh, it's in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where Sioux Indians in Florida. I don't really know much about.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know much about the Indians in Florida.
No, maybe he's not. Don't quote me on that. We'll cut that.
Leave it. Don't cut it, Trevor.
Because if I got it wrong, he's gonna be pissed.
Dude, who gives a shit? Like that's what I don't care. So we can always like double back. You know what I mean? Like we you know, people get shit wrong all the time. It's like, you know, who cares? Whatever. Yeah, that's crazy. But but yeah, no. Kind of back to your filming and stuff. Yeah, I mean, good luck to you. I hope you do something with it, dude. There's a lot of cool shit. I mean, you guys are pretty busy people, so I mean, adding another business is probably not, you know,
Well,
maybe
we'll-
in the future.
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, you never know, dude. There's hell, you could probably get into filming hunts and shit too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, especially with high quality footage like that. You know, what?
I found it's almost like a new respect for wildlife, just by, especially like in like the waterfowl world. You know, like when you go duck hunting, basically you're shooting before their feet hit the water most of the time. But when you sit there and watch them for like 3 or 4 hours and just watch what they do, how they act, all the sounds, behavior, and all that stuff, you learn so much more than you would just going out duck hunting. You know what I mean?
That's crazy, and yeah, I didn't think about that. I guess it would be like,
Because I mean, you know, like if you're a bow hunter,
yeah,
you watch a lot of deer,
yeah,
but you don't watch a lot of ducks when you go duck hunting, do you?
no,
If you're watching them, you're probably shooting at them.
that's right. Yeah, so that's probably pretty fascinating.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, a whole new respect for it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you actually taking the time to like sit there quietly, and you're just taking in all of what they have to offer the world, and like how they move and operate. Yeah. Because I mean, I pretty much watch all of the ones you post. Because I'm like, what's this duck doing today? And really,
There's
honestly,
some pretty crazy stuff sometimes.
yeah. And then like that one that was was that like her house inside of the tree?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, she'll have a nest in there. She maybe now,
Yeah, probably getting there, right?
getting pretty close probably.
Yeah.
I actually got a pair breeding the other day. First time I'd ever got that.
Really?
Pair of
Filmed
wood
it?
ducks,
You filmed it?
somewhat. And I got back home, looked at it, and it was out of focus. I was like,
Damn.
it's all right though. I got it on my phone. I'll show you.
Yeah, that's sick. That's pretty wild, dude. What prompted you to do it? You just like, you just got the camera. You're like, I'm gonna start filming fucking wildlife. Or
Pretty much. I mean,
yeah, I mean, you guys are
I
so.
think I got my camera. I guess it would be, I probably had it about 1.5 years because I started doing it. It was right before bow season. So that year I had a bunch of bean fields on one of the properties that I hunt.
Yeah,
So I would go out there and I'd film some velvet bucks and stuff like that.
that's cool.
Then I went into ducks when it got later in the season and just kind of stuck with the ducks, looks like.
Yeah. Well, you never know. I mean, maybe y'all will start a podcast or something over there at Hank's. You know, talking with your dad at the Dixie Classic, he's like, I was like, well, come. I was like, come with Austin. Come to come sit in, man. He's like, yeah, I'm not a man of many words or something. He said something.
So
I was like, well, you're talking to me, so I mean, you know,
Jonah's dad.
yeah,
Eric.
he's just like probably him.
They're exactly alike, pretty much.
Yeah, just not a whole lot of words, you know. But
Which I'm not either. This is like
is
way out of my comfort
you're
zone.
doing
but
great, man. No, it's good. It's good because, you know, like what I like about it is like, I think that people need to understand, you know, everybody's so like locked in on like the famous people and all these, you know, people that have accolades and doctorate degrees and like, oh, I graduated from college and, you know, I have a master's degree, and they're all so focused on like, you know, this, I don't even know what you want to call it. It's gross to me. I like real people, you know, that do real shit. And I think that it's becoming more attractive nowadays. You know what I mean?
would agree
And
with that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's becoming more attractive. And I think that with us doing this kind of stuff, like we're able to get to a few hundred people. You know what I mean? And from a few hundred people from there, it grows, you know, whether it's growing the sport, because this doesn't have to be, you know, being an outdoorsman and being a hunter doesn't have to be just turkey hunting. There's plenty of other animals out here to hunt, you know, to harvest for meat or, you know, whatever. But I think now
just meat. That's all
just
you
meat, and don't hunt for antlers.
Yeah.
Don't copy us. But like I said, I mean, like, you know, we started this podcast a year ago, and then we were like, because everything was getting pushed down inside of the algorithms and like basically locking up what everyone can say, and, you know, like freedom of speech was just getting essentially like what, you know, they're just like anything on YouTube. If you ever spoke out about anything that had to do with Trump or anything that had to do with political wise on that side, anything, you know, you're not going to do anything on. What's the point? Right. So we decided, let's wait a year. Let's just see what happens this year. And of course, Trump got elected, and I was like, cool, it's go time. Play. We're going to do it. You know, because it's like now guys like yourself would feel a little more comfortable about coming on, right? Who are a little more soft-spoken, who are a little more reserved. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's actually a good thing to have a little, you know, reservation in your life, you know, because that's where peace comes from. You know, if you're constantly trying to be here, there, and everywhere, like me, which I try to find a little more peace and not try to be, you know, I want to be here at the house. You can see everything I do is like here, you know, besides going to work. Like, hell, if I could just have everything here, I'd stay here. But I think it's a good thing that guys like yourself are being able to kind of like just be kind of open about who you are and what you do. I mean, it doesn't always need to be about like politics and what you believe in. Of course, you know, we kind of like, I'm sure you do and I do. We like kind of how things are rolling right now in the United States.
Yes.
I mean, this is great, you know, and
never thought it would happen, but it
no,
did.
Most of us didn't. And
especially after the last election, I did not think it stood a chance because what everything that happened last time.
Yeah. But I mean, like, look at it now. Things are kind of rolling. Everything's promises made, promises kept. And, you know, we're able to, you know, especially as in Minds and generation, like we're kind of that interesting generation where we didn't know what it was like with technology, and then we knew what it was like with technology. You know what I mean? So, you know, whereas like my son grew up with technology, he doesn't know what it's like not to have technology. Mm-hmm. We know the difference. Yeah. You know? So, you know, and that's again, like that's kind of why we're choosing to kind of go this route, or I am at least, to have a podcast. Is like I don't feel scared to like have this podcast, and then one of my customers who happens to not vote like me find out that I have a podcast and be like, oh my God, I'm never going to use him again because he voted for Trump. Well, fine, bitch. I don't care. I don't care. Because you should never judge somebody based upon that kind of stuff. Like that should never be, if they work hard, they're honest people, charge a fair price, show up, do a good job, respect you. That's what you hire people on, right?
Exactly.
Not because, you know, anyways, you get where I'm going with this.
I do.
It's just,
and I agree 100%.
You know, I mean, so again, trying to be a little more outspoken about people like us and allowing people to kind of have a voice. And I'm not opposed to having a Democrat on at all. They're all welcome here. They're all welcome to sit down and have a conversation and tell me about themselves. I'm not going to not let people be who they are. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not pushing my beliefs on you, and you're not pushing your beliefs on me, you know, because I'm sure you don't like that.
No.
Right. But anyway, so what's kind of the future for you? What do you got going on in your future? Are you married?
No.
You're not married. Not married yet. Are you planning on getting married?
Probably pretty soon.
Oh, okay.
Oh, don't put me on the spot like that.
If she watches this, she's gonna be like, "Motherfucker,
I'm sure she'll be the first.
You
one
better
to watch
be
it.
freaking asking me, dude." No. So kids are in your future. You plan on having kids one day? Yeah, you got to. You got to pass that down, dude. You know, pass those good hunting genes down, dude. You come from a killing family. So, no, that's great, man. And is there anything else that you would like to talk about or say before we get off here? We've kind of went through a little bit of everything and talked about you and your family and
I think we covered pretty much
your dad.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll I look like honestly I don't really know you a lot, and I just recently kind of started getting to know you. So big kudos to you for coming on here and doing this. Like
Well,
I really
appreciate you having me.
I really appreciate it. And you know, your dad's awesome. You know Jonah and all them. They say nothing but kind words, and you know you guys are good family and things like that. And that's pretty cool because, like I said, people need to see this kind of stuff. You know, especially
I agree, yeah.
where we come from. You know, for the last 4 years at least, which have been pretty bad. But again, I really appreciate you coming on here and you know, taking time away from your family and stuff like that to do this, because what you guys have going on over at Hank's Game Calls and is pretty sweet, man. So everybody, you can go to, is it hanksgamecalls.com?
That's right.
hanksgamecalls.com. You can also find them at multiple Sportsman's Warehouse stores and things like that. So if you guys are interested in checking out their stuff, they have a social media page as well. You guys are on Facebook, Instagram, and all that kind of stuff. So
Yep.
I know you guys post quite a bit, you know, as far as like kind of stuff you guys have going on and things like that. So, but no, like I said, appreciate you coming on here, man. And good luck this year hunting.
Good luck to you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, buddy. We'll haul her off here.
All right.